3, 2, 1. Welcome to another edition of Indian Cine-MANIACS. What's going on, Maniacs?
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Hey, we got four this week.
4. Well, Sean had his surgery today, everybody.
Yep. Successful.
We hope
That's what we hear.
We heard it was successful, so I'd say stay tuned for his YouTube channel for his music. I bet he's going to be pounding these things out. Sounded great.
He's got to use the good camera for something.
That's right.
He's going to come back. Hi, I'm Sean Paul Murphy. Let's talk movies.
Sounds just like the rest of us. All right. We got a very, very, very exciting film to talk about tonight.
Ralph, I could be wrong, but that sounded sarcastic.
Yes.
Well, but wait, before we get real honest, Wolverina, thank you very much for making this movie available.
Came through.
It is now part of my Blu-ray collection and, by extension, our show library. So I know we'll be passing it around. I just want to say thank you for sharing it with us because we could not get it any other way.
Utilize your P.O. box.
Yes, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
I'd like to ask her... excuse me. I'd like to ask her why this is in her DVD collection, but we'll deal with that later.
Well, it's not in her DVD collection anymore. It's in mine. So
well, I have it. Well, we all have it now.
She actually went out and bought this for us.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Are you kidding me? Well, then I take back my...
So I told her we got to rig the wheel so her film comes up.
Well, you should have told me. You should have told me that earlier. It's too late. The Wheel of
John
Destiny
will just say the title out loud and it'll come up.
Cannot be messed with.
Can we fix that in post?
All right. So the movie we're talking about is Pa. Starring
Amitabh Bachchan.
You guys, somebody else. John.
Amitabh Bachchan
Thank you,
his
Drew.
son, Abhishek Bachchan.
Go ahead. Give us the description that this... I want to know what this person said about
this. This was... Well, I think... Actually, you know what? Based on what I think about the film, I think it's actually a pretty good write-up for this film. It was by Pandy Payush 6795. And what they wrote was... It's a movie which stars Amitabh Bachchan, the biggest star of Indian cinema, in his most unique role, as well as his son. I like the fact he doesn't even mention the son's name. And his son. The movie will remind you of an Amir Khan movie, Tar Zameen Par. I don't know about that one. Acting and emotion.
I mean, we liked that one, I thought.
Yeah, we loved that one. Acting and emotion
movie.
at peak. Again, stars Amitabh Bachchan, Abhishek Bachchan, Vidya Balan. It was directed by R. Balki. And the reason why the movie got made, Balki saw the father and son at some event, and he felt like Abhishek was a lot more mature than Amitabh, who's a lot older. And that's what kind of was the seed for this movie, other than the remake of the film, Robin Williams' film, Jack. But anyway, so that's the write-up on that one. So,
okay, so what's the plot?
Give a little breakdown of the absolute complex.
It's about it's Jack. It's Jack. So this kid has this disease. I don't know. They
Progeria? Is that what it's called?
Progeria, yeah.
Which just causes a child to age beyond their years. So a 12-year-old looks like a 60-year-old. Their lifespan, generally, they said, is between 12 and 14 years. So it's about this child who's
Oro.
Well, let me just say the plot. So this couple, the mother of this character, what was his name?
Oro.
Oro. Has this brief. I mean, it's in the movie. It's this kind of cool slideshow / movie about a relationship where you realize that she gets pregnant at the end of the relationship. He's a budding politician who doesn't want her to have the child because of his political career, and he thinks they talk each other into her getting an abortion, where she basically says to him, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Well, what she does is she goes on and has the child. The child ends up with this disease, and the movie starts with the politician, not knowing that that's his son, comes to his school for some India Day, and this kid ends up winning an award. And then throughout the show, throughout the movie, I think they. By the way, the movie was terrible. Let me just say that. I understand he's a beloved actor. I understand why this would be cool for him to do it, because the prosthetics that they did and kind of the way they portrayed him as the small child with a giant head in relation to his mother and his, he didn't know it at the time, but his father was kind of cool. Some of the tricks that they did to keep him small. I just felt like, I don't know, you guys, the scenes at the school where he's doing that dance he does, I just found it over the top. I understand he's a beloved actor, and I get what they were going for, Jack, you know, the whole Jack situation. I just found it like, I kept asking, why didn't the mother just tell the guy that she had the baby? Why are they stretching this thing out through 2 hours and 20 minutes to finally say, "Oh, you're my father," and then he drops dead right at the end of the film. Pa,
well,
his last breath is Pa, which is.
She explained why she didn't tell him the whole hiccup.
Why don't you explain to our viewers so that I can remember?
Well, she because he was a PM, he became a big political leader,
right?
And if she told him about the son, it would have been, in her words, a hiccup. And he would have had to have dealt with it, and she didn't want him to have to deal with it, and she was so hurt originally. And the whole thing started because she said, "You don't have to worry about it anymore," which he took as she was going to have an abortion.
Right.
She didn't. She had the baby.
Right.
So she, and that's, in fact, that the hiccup thing is used a lot in the movie.
Yeah. And
then it ends up that once he finds out it's his son, it's just the opposite of that, and he wants to have a relationship, and she doesn't want him to have anything to do with it. And look, I know this movie is beloved, and there are a lot of people who have commented on it and talk about how wonderful it is. I wasn't crazy about the movie, but I have to say, and Ralph, you kind of mocked a little bit the performance, but I thought, realizing that was Amitabh Bachchan and seeing him in all these other movies, it was a pretty amazing, I thought, a pretty amazing performance in a bad film. But everything he did in this film with the voice and the body movement. Now, I will say this, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if the dub I saw was a Hindi dub, because it definitely... they didn't sound right. Like, I've seen movies with both those actors, and it was tough to tell with Amitabh because he was doing that weird voice. But the son's voice sounded a little different too, and I wasn't sure if I was saying the real voices or a dub. I couldn't tell. But his, like, the way he interacted with the little kids, I don't disagree with you that it was like, okay, we go through this journey of trying to, once he finds out that's his father, should he or shouldn't he, and then he dies. I mean, that was like, it was like, boom, it was over. But I really, I mean, I have to tell you that, and maybe it's just me because his nickname is Big B, and I love the stuff that he's in, and he's got a very commanding presence, and he's got a real... everyone knows from the movies we've seen, he's got a real deep voice and everything. So to see him in that role, and then I watched the making of it and how they did the prosthetics and everything, it's pretty crazy. But I actually really, really liked that part of it. I really enjoyed watching him in that role, even though I didn't think the movie was all that great. It had a threadbare plot. I mean, the plot was the kid's got this thing and he's trying to, find his father. But I really enjoyed him in it, I have to tell you. So that's, my spin on it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
My understanding is the way that they marketed this movie, a big part of the marketing was the dad plays the son, and the son plays the dad, and the dad is the biggest movie star. And I feel like if you made a movie and the big pitch on the poster, on the advertising, and the press was... Kirk Douglas stars in a movie, but he plays the dad to Michael Douglas, I wouldn't care. Like, that doesn't compel me at all. And I don't know how big of a star Abhishek was at this point. This is before the Doom movies and stuff.
Right. This is early.
And I think that, he did a fine job. I don't understand most of the acting choices that Amitabh Bachchan made. I think progeria affects your body. But half the time I wasn't sure if they were saying that he had some sort of intellectual disability also. And then in other scenes, he's got, like really great insight into things. So that was a little weird. And I think there's a thing in movies in America for sure. If somebody's playing somebody with some kind of disability, they end up packing in a lot of other stuff, and people expect them to be a certain way. And maybe Oro performance either was that or felt like that to me. But the movie had little surprises that I thought were nice. Like as soon as we meet him, I assumed, oh my God, he's going to get treated horribly at school. That wasn't, there was no bullying at school. It was actually very sweet. Yeah, everybody, cheered for him and wanted him to succeed. So that part was, of course, completely unrealistic, but it was very nice. But I wasn't into it at first. And then we got to Oxford. And I know they went to Oxford and they met in front of the Corpus Clock and all these other things. The editing drove me insane. It was so distracting, all the jump cuts and the still frames. And I wrote in my notes in all caps, so many dissolves. Like I don't need a dissolve 3 times as somebody's walking into a room. And it distracted me enough that I didn't notice how little was going on in the movie. So I guess
I wonder. I was thinking about that, and I wonder if it's because they had no chemistry, the two of them together.
Well, the father and son, you mean?
No,
Vidya, who was very good. I've never seen her before. I don't think, and she was very good,
gorgeous and pretty good. But you just
wonder
why
her with the son.
No, her with the relationship with the PM, the very
that's first, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, MP,
Oh, okay, the son. You can okay, right.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I know that's
the whirlwind romance they had, and and it ends with them in the wheat, in the wheat or whatever that is, and I guess that's when they conceive the baby. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't understand the whole point of that. It didn't look good. It didn't feel good, and then that the way they did it, the whole is. I get what they're doing. It's a relationship in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever. But it's just, I thought, a little cheesy.
In a song.
Well, I mean, that can be charming.
It can.
They're trying to make a meet cute and all this other stuff.
But this
Listen, it
charming.
reminded me of the romance in oh my God, PK? Is that the Amir Khan alien movie?
Yeah, when that couple met.
I mean, that the way that worked in that movie, that worked.
That was adorable.
I mean,
that was adorable.
Yeah, it was very cute. It was very sweet. You find, you've just met these characters and you're already rooting for them. Like that's good, rom-com storytelling. And that, of course, then how much that works for you, because at the end of the movie, when you find out what really happened, it's amazing and everybody cries and you care about it because 3 hours ago you met them in that situation. I did not have that experience with this film.
No, this one, and I feel, part of me feels like I don't know the context of what the PM does in India. I don't know what it meant for him to go in that school and see all those kids do. I mean, I know generally what it means, but I don't actually know what it means. And I know he's a beloved actor, this guy, the guy doing the lead. Yeah. It's just like you still have to have a decent story and a decent film, and they're jumping, the fact that he has a relationship with the grandmother with the bum. The movie starts with him peeing on himself, and I guess I know what you mean, Drew. We expect that when he comes out, he's going to get laughed at, and he wasn't. He becomes right away what his story is. And I like the little touch of the globe that he just happened to pick up and didn't finish doing it, and the guy thought it was a brilliant, statement about what India is. I just, I don't know. I found it so goofy.
The one-night stand and getting pregnant was something different than we've seen in a lot.
I don't think that was a one-night stand. That's the point. I think that was.
It was one time they didn't have a condom, I think, and that's why. But it was definitely not one time. No, they were together for some period of time. Is how I read it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how many dissolves equal how many days. But
Chris, did you see it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought they had a relationship, and I thought that was. And by the way, she was the best part of this film. I found her to be the most compelling of all the characters. A woman who raises a son on her own, basically a son who's got what is essentially a very terrible disease, right? But I will say this: it's like the ending really was like. And actually, I will say this, like halfway through the movie, or I forget exactly where it is, there's a scene where he's cutting the ribbon to like a mall or something like that. Mm-hmm. But he's like pretending he can't cut it, and he's talking to the guy, and I couldn't quite understand, is he trying to extort the guy, or is he just trying to make sure that there's more parking? Like they were talking about parking or something.
I think he's trying to make sure that whatever lifestyle improving, community improving measures that you said you were going to do, you're really going to do that.
Okay.
That's how I think it is, because that's what he's doing. He's facilitating business, but trying to do it in a way that isn't corrupt, like you said, and helps the community.
Because I wasn't quite sure if he was if he was kind of like a dirty politician there or not.
No, he's the opposite.
No.
He's the opposite. He's on a crusade. That's part of why the hiccup thing, I think, is supposed to be so compelling, because it's like, I couldn't be your hiccup, because look at the important work that you are doing.
Okay.
And you are helping people who no one else cares about and no one else helps. How can I distract you with a baby that you don't want? So I'd rather you just not know. I think that's how.
So
that's how
she's the hero of this film. She's the hero.
I think she is, because, and I'm going to say this because, so like, we talked a little bit, you mentioned Jack, and we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, right? One of the things that kind of threw me off with this film, and it does feel like such a gag, or not a gag, but a gimmick, hey, let's have the dad play the son and the son play the dad, is that, so in the movie Jack, they don't follow progeria as an actual thing at all. Because it does, like when you've seen people who really do have it, they do look much more like the guy. What's the guy? Not Oro. Oro.
No.
That's what they look like. They have, they have some physical issues.
Well, they showed real pictures.
They don't just look like a short Robin Williams, right?
Right.
So, but one of the things that kind of threw me was, so Bachchan he's a full-grown man, right? And so, like, he's a huge dude he doesn't look like a 13-year-old to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't look like even an aged 13-year-old. He doesn't. It looked weird, I guess, is that. In addition to the, but I do.
What did you think looked more realistic? And like, seriously, in terms of if you saw it on the street, do you think it was more realistic, this makeup making him look like a child, or Robert De Niro in The Irishman? Because I can't find a way to make any of this compelling visually. And
they did.
Turns out in either direction, it doesn't really matter.
They were playing. They were doing. There was some trick going on there to keep him.
Keep him short. You mean
force perspective, whatever. But his arms were super long.
No, he was hunched over and kept his arms pretty straight. I don't think they did anything like that. I don't think they used force.
They had to when the two of them are standing next to each other.
If you look at him the whole time, his knees are bent, his arms are almost.
There's something going. There got to be. Okay, I know I'm going to get our 14 viewers.
Well, let us know in the
comment
comment section, because
they're going to kill me because like the dancing in RRR. But there's something going on there.
I think that was all him.
But there was that scene where like the dad is giving the son a piggyback ride. Yeah. Like, that's a full-grown dude,
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
But like, and the other part of it was, and I have never seen Jack, so I don't know how it ends or whatever. But when the end comes, this guy. I mean, now granted, he's got progeria. We know that he's got a shortened lifespan. But it really reminded me of another movie about a kid who's got some issues that dies early. Do you remember that movie Simon Birch? It was based on the Prayer for Hope.
Sure.
And while the book and the movie had very little to do with one another, that was like another one where it felt like, he was going to die, and it was going to be this like kind of predestined thing, and him like doing the thing where he brings them back together or tries to get them together. I don't know. I felt it was a little what's the word I want to use?
Schmaltzy.
Schmaltzy. That's a good one. Yeah, I was going to go with treacly, and
there you go. That's the Gentile version.
Exactly.
Okay, a couple of things based on what you said. She didn't raise the kid alone. She had her mother there the whole time.
Right.
Okay. Well,
and the other, for me, the other compelling character was the little boy that he kept interacting with.
His friend
that had the issues with his dad.
His best friend.
Yeah, his buddy.
There's a little girl that kept chasing after him, never got to him. I don't quite get what that was.
Well, yeah, they explained that when she first saw him, she was afraid of him and screamed and ran away.
Right.
The whole movie, she's just trying to apologize to him. That's what that was all about.
She never got to. It's too bad.
Well, she did at the end.
And then she did at the end. That was a sweet little storyline.
On the phone, you probably couldn't.
I know. I didn't watch it on the phone
when you were driving. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I watched this
because
I put it in my Plex so that I could watch it. But obviously, I drifted again. The gorilla. What was my message there that I missed? The giant gorilla he kept talking to, or the
King Kong in his room.
Yeah,
that was
gorilla.
his buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a kid who has a
an
stuffed
imaginary
animal
friend.
and have a big gorilla.
It's like if you had a Spider-Man, a full-size Spider-Man, you would just hang
who would
out
do
with
that?
it and
Who
talk
would
to
do
it.
that except the child?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine.
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like I'm being
volleyball.
mocked.
What?
Or volleyball. Yeah, no, okay. So that
Right.
was just so. To me, I'm always looking for meanings, especially with these Indian films, like because I come off as ignorant because I can't figure out what the hell's going on. And this one, what's the message here? The message is the woman's the hero for India because she didn't have any hiccups, and the guy turned out to be a great politician, and just happened to have this kid that dropped dead as soon as he said dad. Did that kid? And what was the deal with the car? He's getting in and out of cars, and did he have a chauffeur that was driving him around everywhere?
No, they got driven to school every day with a driver, and he liked that car, and he didn't feel like the PM's car was as nice as the one he was.
Oh, so that was it.
Yeah.
I think that service was like the MTA link. If you have a disability, you can get a shuttle bus type of thing. So I think it was something like that. Because I didn't get the impression that Vidya's family was poor or anything, but I also didn't get the impression that they had private driver money. So
Yeah.
Wait a minute, isn't she a doctor though?
She was a doctor, yeah, so she got
She's
money.
a doctor though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true.
I mean,
so maybe they were paying for that.
They had a nice house. That house was beautiful. Their house was
he was
beautiful.
obviously going to like a nice private school.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay. So
I stand corrected. That's fair.
I mean,
But overall, did you like the film, John? I know you like the acting. I get it.
I mean, I have.
It's a tour de force.
First of all, this movie was a big hit. He won all kinds of awards too for his performance.
I can't see. This is what.
I get that when you're the you're the biggest star in India, right? Before Shah Rukh Khan, before Amir Khan, and you take on a role like this that is so different from anything else.
And Salman Khan.
That's why people want to go see this and why they love
Eric Khan.
Now, I obviously thought
Shaka Khan.
was a lot better than the rest of you, but
Khan.
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, the movie overall, like I would give it 2 Ladoos, even though I really loved the performance. And I thought, to Chris's point, because look, I mean, it's like Rain Man, right? I always thought Tom Cruise was better in Rain Man than Dustin Hoffman, because
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman was one note the whole movie.
Literally.
Bachchan is one note the whole movie. I think it's effective for the role, but the mother's the one who probably conveyed the most emotion, the most realistic reactions to things that were happening. So I thought I really enjoyed her performance, but I really found, again, seeing all the movies that he's done and watching him do this, and it was so different. I really loved it.
But again, great. But take him away. It's the film.
Well, I gave it a 2. I mean,
and you didn't think his son, the guy playing his father,
I don't think he's
his actual son, when he looked at that plate of yellow food, whatever that was, you didn't think he emoted some emotions when he realized that's what he was eating?
I don't think his son. Look, the other thing is, even him playing the 12-year-old kid, when they were together, his son is an okay actor. He's not a good actor compared to his father. I don't think he's very good anyway. And even in the film, even in the Doom films, which I like, he's not the reason why you watch those films, right? So he was okay, but I think it's Bachchan and I think it's the mother who were the best things in this film. And I didn't like I didn't like Jack either. I thought Jack wasn't very good. So I give this.
I always want to do this. Take an American actor from American films.
Yeah.
And a beloved actor.
Yeah.
Has anyone gotten, I guess there has to be out there, like major awards for a part in a movie that was just absolutely ridiculous? No, and don't say Marissa Tomei, because she actually won that.
No.
Are you talking about winning or nominated?
Just in general, like who is...
Because they nominated
like
I Am
Jack,
Sam for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but he didn't win anything.
Well, I mean,
But he got nominated.
Dustin Hoffman. I mean, in Rain Man.
Yeah,
but
that's a good movie. Rain Man's a good film.
I'm not saying it's not, but you're saying a great performance
in a bad film. In a bad film,
well, that's
somebody
different.
who's so beloved. Like part of what we deal with these films is these people are so beloved by their audience that they get away literally with murder. Like he murdered
not
this
literally.
Film. Well, not
That's a strong
literally,
accusation.
just figuratively. But, you know,
Wow.
but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to say this honestly. My favorite part in this film was when the
He
woman
died?
at the beginning read
Oh.
the credits to us
Oh yeah,
on camera. That's his wife. I know that.
That's his wife, and
because
he
he did
did
that
it
in another film.
for one of
John, I
her
read the
movies,
same
yeah.
IMDb
Yeah.
you did.
No,
Okay, I did my research. I
I emailed Bachchan. He told me that.
Which Bachchan?
The father, not the good actor.
I really
The
enjoyed
one playing
that.
the father,
I thought-
or the actual father?
yeah, here we go.
I'm all confused.
I am your father. Can you? We've seen that already. I just thought that was cute. I thought that was one of the best. Again, I had to sit through 45 minutes of credits and music and all.
A great performance in a bad film. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, I would say
you would
Daniel
reward, that you
Day-Lewis, Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York is one of his all-time greatest performances. That movie is a terrible mess, a terrible, terrible mess.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, Bill the Butcher is a what a creation.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
terrific.
unbelievable.
I'm not so sure that movie is a terrible mess. It's definitely in the bottom half of the Scorsese, filmography by far. But like, I don't
Well,
know
I'll
if
give you a
terrible
better
mess.
example then. How about Raul Julia in Street Fighter?
That's okay. That's up there.
Street
Or
Fighter,
Thomas C.
Carnival.
Howell in Soul Man. That's another one.
Oh, I was just talking about that movie with a friend of ours,
Great
a younger
performance.
person who could not believe that was a real movie.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
I
here's
saw
pictures
that.
of him in his costume.
I actually saw that in the theater.
Oh my
I did
God!
too.
You paid actual money to go see that.
Yeah. I
So
was a kid.
I feel it frustrates me because I really wanted to tear this one up. I just thought this was just bad. I get his performance; the prosthetics were cool. It's just like, but the movie was all over the place. All over the place. It had no. Some of these I can if I can get through it and stick with it. I feel the emotion that comes through. When he dies at the end, I'm like, oh, thank God, this movie's over.
Yeah, it wasn't Piku.
No, when he goes, pa's his last breath. I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah, when he died, I applauded. I mean, it was.
I didn't cheer.
I didn't
I didn't
cheer,
cheer.
but anyway.
Well, I
thought it
thought
was a
that there's
beautiful
an
theme.
instrumental theme on strings that recurs in the movie. That was really sweet. That was kind of a nice music piece in the score. But I as soon as I finished watching the movie, I didn't remember any of the songs or anything.
Right.
Yeah, this wasn't one to remember.
Do you
But
think
the
his
fact
little dance wiggle thing he did became
Yeah,
a thing?
with the guy. I
Yeah,
like
that-
that.
That made me tired very quickly.
And the relationship between the mother and him, I really liked. I liked that. That was a good acting dynamic there too. I thought.
And I'm going to say this, John. I mean, good call on the Rain Man thing because I agree with you. Tom Cruise is the emotional center of that film, just like the mother is the emotional center of this film. She does all the real heavy lifting. I don't know if it was a great performance. I wonder if it was just like, hey, man, he's got all these prosthetics on, Here's a good question. It's like this. Sometimes I didn't get the feeling that he was actually 13. I felt like he was a really good actor playing 13.
Yeah, no, I don't. You know what? I don't disagree with that. I think he's a 65-year-old guy playing 13, what he thinks is 13. I don't disagree with that. So to Drew's point, it comes across as opposed to being 13, it's almost like there's something going on mentally with him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
maybe that's
I don't
what I was reading.
Well,
That's
to
fair.
me, it's like the being there situation where you've got a simple person in the middle of this movie who are saying really simple things that people are taking as, oh, this is a brilliant, in the spring the flowers grow. What's he talking about? He's talking about life and all this. They're looking at this, especially before he even knows he's his son.
Right.
He was taking this kid around everywhere because he
Right.
thought he was, because of the globe that he perceived, he mistakenly thought was some brilliant thing, which was just he didn't finish it. He looked at him as being some kind of, and maybe an inspiration for him.
Well, yeah,
I mean-
because you found out about his story and,
Right.
and understood
Yeah.
who he
You
was.
mean you mean like a Forrest Gump
A
kind
little
of
bit.
thing?
A little bit.
I hate that movie too. So
Had Forrest
Well,
Gump.
I'll give you an example.
Retroactively, I hated
It's a
that film.
superhero movie, but I'll give it to you anyway. In the movie Shazam, Zachary Levi plays a 14.
oh yeah, okay.
But he
Yeah.
plays it like a 5-year-old. The 14-year-old boy was much more mature than him playing a 14-year-old boy. It made no sense at all, right? So I see that, and I think that's how someone older like that thinks. That's how a 13-year-old boy is.
Yeah.
So it didn't really come across as I don't disagree with that.
Look, the best performance I can think of like that recently was in the movie Freaky, where Vince Vaughn switched bodies with a 13-year-old girl, and he is actually amazing because the 13-year-old girl becomes a very violent serial killer who wants to stab, stab, stab. And Vince Vaughn plays the 13-year-old or 16-year-old girl, whatever. And there's a scene where he's in the backseat of a car waiting, to not be killed with the boy that she likes. And it's completely plausible the way they talk to each other, and maybe they're going to kiss. It's really, it's crazy. And I don't think the way that this role was played, it was a sensitive handling of an illness and things like that. But it was so broad. Yeah. He almost it almost seemed like they weren't so concerned with what this person would be like so much as look at me acting, which is what John is saying, and I think that's probably true.
Well, plus there's all the poop talk and shit talk, and
well, that doesn't bother me. Well, also it reminded me of one of my least favorite movies of all time, which is the giant bag of shit Benjamin Button, and I had to consciously say this is not that movie. That's not fair. That movie had great effects and great makeup and stuff, but I didn't find the people.
Well, it's funny now that you say that. It's funny because if you didn't know what Progeria was, or if they never talked about Progeria, you wouldn't think that's what he was afflicted with. You would think he had some kind of mental disorder.
Oh, you mean it's like you wouldn't read him as aging rapidly?
That's right. You wouldn't.
Yeah,
read
I
him.
agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
So he looked like an alien.
He did. He looked like a big gray head type of alien. And
he looked
not
like
what
the
people with
alien
Progeria
in
look
the original
like.
Star Trek pilot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the guys in Twilight
Cage.
Zone, the ones who the menu, the whatever, the cookbook.
To
serve man.
Serve man.
Yeah, because he didn't look, and all like the pictures they were showing in the film when someone was researching that disease. I think his son.
Well, I
was his
bet.
father.
I mean, I can't believe they based that on nothing. They had to have based it on something because.
Oh no!
like
the
Chris was
director
saying,
really
probably
wanted to make a movie about this disease. So
yeah, I mean the prosthetics don't look exactly like it, but there are some, there's some photos and stuff, and you're right, they look kind of like it. They're mostly bald, and they've got kind of bulbous heads and things like that. It's funny going back to the acting what he thinks a 13-year-old would act like. And I have to give credit where credit's due. It was like I remember Roger Ebert talked about Tom Hanks in Big, right? And why Big worked, because he actually acts like a 12 or 13-year-old boy in that movie. Ebert made a good comment. He was like, there was some body switching movie with Fred Savage and like Judge Reinhold. Yeah. And Judge Reinhold runs around that movie with his mouth hanging open, like he has no, literally, like he's just like the whole time. And that's how Judge Reinhold played like a 12-year-old, Anyway, but I don't know. We ready to rate this bad boy?
Well,
I'm sorry.
John started with his.
Sorry, I took your cue.
No, please. What's your rating then, Chris?
I'm going to give it 2. Maybe 1.5 to 2. I'll give it 2 because I really did like the. I like the woman. I really did like her. Not only was she a good actress, she's not too hard on the eyes.
Yeah.
So,
Drew,
as always.
I'll give it 2 Ledoux. There are some positive things and performances like what Chris said. I agree with, and honestly, it's not 13B by a lot. So I can't say it's that kind of bad or disappointing movie. I didn't care for it, so 2 Ledoux.
Yeah, I'm going with 1, only for the little kid. I liked the little kid with the father. The best friend. And I thought the credit sequence was great. I love seeing that woman read those.
The opening credit.
Yeah, even though they couldn't even do that. I mean, they had to dissolve in that because she couldn't read.
That took a long time.
Yeah, I don't know what, it's all the credits. So
wasn't that Amitabh Bachchan's actual wife?
It's actual wife. And I guess he had done that in one of her films.
I think something like that. Yeah. So that was kind of sweet. Yeah.
I saw
so
that.
But I still can't get past the fact that I think we're being trolled because I can't understand. I mean, again,
Ralph, I don't agree with that at all. I think they love.
You don't think they're testing us?
No, I think they love these movies. That's why they want them to watch them. And I just think that some of them are going to click with us and some of them aren't. But they love these movies. I mean, if you read the reviews on that movie, from the Indian audience. They freaking love it.
Yeah, but
I
I can't.
think it's a wonderful story, sensitively told, and all these things. I don't think it's offensive.
I cannot.
I just didn't connect with it.
I cannot go by.
I think they hope, like Ralph, you know that stupid counselor movie that you always talk about. And
Hey.
like those movies, right? Well, I think they want us. They hope that we will have the same reaction that they have to a movie that they love. I mean, that's what it is. I don't think it's trolling.
Yeah.
And it's been hit or miss. Let's be honest. We haven't been bowled over by them, but some we have been. So I like it. You know, it's you know, and I don't ever want to. I never want to be negative about somebody who loves a movie, but we also got to be.
No,
honest.
I don't.
And
I'm
this
not.
was not.
And by no means. By no means. But
right.
There is a part of me that uses The Counselor as a test for me. If I say to someone, "Have you seen The Counselor?" I definitely am kind of trolling because I love it so much. I just want to see why they think it's so shitty, which everybody does, but except Drew.
It's not really hard to say why.
I like
No,
The Counselor.
you have no idea why. Nobody does. That movie's going to be a stone cold classic.
You know, 100
It's gonna
years
look
from
back.
now,
It's gonna
you're
be a
not going to
cult
be talking
film.
about Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're going to be talking about The Counselor.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? I forget
Carol.
what I was going to say. Oh boy.
Don't even.
We're definitely being trolled on that show, and that's by you.
Really?
Two.
You are not.
think?
You two are
You're
trolling
not.
us.
I know what I'm
But our
watching. I
audience
know
will
the double
find out.
feature I'm watching Christmas Eve. Midnight Clear and Carol. Getting the spirit of Christmas.
All right. So, but here's the honest to God. I want to get back to. We have I think 3 or 4 more of these viewer picks that we have to.
Yeah, we have
we're-
4.
4 left. I really want to get back because I've been asking my friend at work some big Bollywood films. He's given me some stuff to do. I kind of want to get back to some of the spectacle ones again. As much as I love grounded stuff, this was not grounded, but some of the films have been grounded I really, really like. But I got to get back to some spectacle. I hate to admit it. Like, I kind of miss some of the over-the-top crazy RRR stuff and Bali.
Well, there's a bunch of new movies that are coming out that if you look at the trailer reactions, they're getting like 5 million hits, 10 million hits. So there's going to be plenty to choose from soon.
Okay.
But maybe, I know that, and maybe it's a selection of the movies. Maybe, I mean, these are long, and frankly, our viewership is dropping quite a bit. And maybe we need to do, mix them in and not just do Indian movies. I mean, we talked about that before. Once we get past this wheel, we need to rethink that a little bit,
Yeah, keep the ball rolling.
I agree.
Unless we get if we get a string of RRRs, that could change everything. But it really hasn't happened. And Chris, Chris can't do this every other week and blow us off. I don't accept that anymore. Right? Sorry.
Well, I got a lot going on.
If you want, we could do RRR every week, and then Chris wouldn't have to watch it every week.
I wouldn't mind watching that again and talking about it again. Now that we know all the players, like we didn't
That's
know
true.
that,
That's
it might
true.
be interesting to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, and
I'll
there's
watch
some
it
big
for a
ones.
seventh
There's
time,
some
sure.
stuff. Like I said, my friend recommended a couple to me. So, and maybe as we do these, we do like we used to. We just say, "I'm going to bring this one next week. Let's all watch that," and it might be a surprise for people. I don't know because
go.
I mean, I think these. I can't get past the feeling I'm being trolled. I know I'm not, but it's like, hey guys, if you like that, try this one. This is going to really.
Hey, listen, we did a lot of viewer choices. So
Yeah.
Okay, we gave our audience what they wanted. Now let's go back and look at some of the ones that might keep us interested and keep the audience interested too. Because the bottom line is that our views are going way down. Even the comments, which we used to get 50 or 60 comments, we're getting like 15 to 18. So and maybe it's us. Maybe like you always talk about 4 white guys talking about Indian films. Maybe it's. I will say this: I did a meeting last week in Cleveland again, and there was a lot of Indian people there, and they were very quiet. So during the break, I wrote on the board, okay, before we go to break, I want to ask all the Indian audience out there. And I wrote Shah Rukh Khan versus Amir Khan. Let me know what you think. And their eyes lit up, and they started asking me about all the movies that I've seen. And I start going down the list, and they're like, "You've really seen all those movies?" I go, "Yeah, I love those movies." Wait a minute, Shah Rukh Khan. He always does this.
Yeah. With the
And
angle.
it was
Yep.
amazing how they just completely opened up, and it was the best feeling in the world to be able to have that commonality that, they're here from a different country trying to adapt to our culture, and I know a little bit about their culture. It was wonderful. It really was. So, I love this. I don't love all the movies, and it is 3-hour, 3.5-hour movies every week, addition to the other ones that we got to watch. It's a lot. I mean, that's the truth. Because everyone's working. It's not like this is the only thing we do, too. We're not big enough for that.
All right, stop complaining. I should be doing all the complaining. Hey, and speaking of which, let's go to the next viewer pick. Woo!
Thank you, Wolverina.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so there we are. We got 4 left.
Okay, you can't rig this for Wolverina, right? You can't.
Here, let me put this in the calculation.
Which one is hers? Oh, Mughal.
Yeah, that's an old one, too. That's an old one. That's going to be... I saw the trailer for it. I don't know about that one, Wolverina. She actually she wished... I did a 10-minute review on her pick. It was with Pyra Chopra about the she killed her husbands. She really wanted all of you guys to watch that. So maybe somewhere down the road I'll get you guys to watch it.
All right, well, here we go. Let's see what
kind of a Black Widow thing.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. My name is Khan. That's one we're all gonna like.
Oh, look at that!
Wolverina wins.
No way! Come on, Ralph. Seriously?
You ask, I do. What can I say?
What an incredible stroke of luck, Wolverine.
That is completely random. Okay. So, Wolverina. Okay, so everybody, can everyone see that? That's her write-up. Okay? I'm not going to read it now, but Wolverina, to thank you for the Blu-ray and making everybody sit through that film, I am going to do it as a dramatic reading. So I'm really going to punch it up for you, okay? I hope the movie meets your write-up, okay?
Oh, lives up to your interpretation of her write-up?
Well, it
has to live up to your interpretation of her
It's
write-up.
pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty powerful write-up.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Well, even if we don't like a movie like today, I still liked our conversation. So I'm looking forward to seeing this movie because it's one of those like formative of movie culture of India classic films. So it's been on my list to watch for a long time. I was glad when I saw it end up on the wheel.
I'm sorry. What was the name? I didn't even see the name.
Mughal-e-Azam.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. Well, we got 3 left after that one. Hopefully, this will be a stunning film. We'll see. All right, guys. Everybody, I don't know if Sean will be back next week. Don't know what
I
his
think he'll be up for a
he'll
couple
subscribe?
of weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah.
What's that?
You think he'll subscribe?
You know what? If they want to subscribe, they can
You'll think he'll
subscribe.
smash the like button?
If he wants to smash the like button, he'll smash the like button.
Hit the notification button?
If he wants to be notified,
what
that's
about
he'll
sharing
do.
it, Ralph? What about sharing it?
If he wants to share, I think he should share as well. So,
Right. So, Chris and Drew, Ralph said his enthusiasm level was going to be a 7. Do you guys concur it was a 7 tonight? Because I thought it was more like a 5. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was a little lower than a 7 without being like low.
Chris? Oh, yeah, because they'll probably go to dinner this weekend, so Chris has got to say that.
No,
okay,
no,
yeah,
I
I
felt-
get it, Chris.
no,
yeah, whatever.
What did he
No,
say?
I
He said
felt
it was
he
an
was
8?
sedate.
Sedate. He said
if you wanna
sedate.
say-
I was
I said he
sedate.
was sedate.
Not a date,
I think,
John, but
I think
sedate.
as I got into it,
That's awesome.
I missed that. What'd you do?
He did like
I
the
saw hearts.
and
Oh,
it
your
just-
phone does
it
that?
happens
Your phone does
automatically. Look at that.
You guys are iPhone users, obviously.
Well, I have to. I have to now.
Jesus, that's
Till I get my
ridiculous.
camera fixed.
All right,
I didn't
everybody.
know it did that.
This weekend, actually.
So this can be streamed somewhere, this film, or do we have to get another?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see.
I have it.
You do?
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, Wolverina got me a copy of it too.
Perfect.
Oh,
So I have a copy of it too.
okay.
With subs. So
Well, please pass it along.
you got it.
All right, everybody. Well, have a good week.
All right.
Like I said, not sure if Sean will be here next week. We hope for a quick recovery for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
And,
news. We did get good news though, so that's
yep.
good.
And so see you guys next week.
All right.
See you guys.
See ya.
So, yeah.
Ah.